Hello everyone, this is Krodeck coming at you, giving you game 1 in a series between BbongBbong Prime versus GhostKing here on Antigua Shipyard. BbongBbong spawning as the red Terran player here at the top left hand side of the map, what I'll call the 11 o'clock position. Meanwhile, GhostKing spawning as the blue Zerg. So Zerg versus Terran here on Antigua Shipyard. I'll go ahead and bring up the screen overlay, but these players are playing on their friend's account, so it is not Zephyr Prime versus Byung Prime. It is actually BbongBbong versus GhostKing, and I'm pretty sure BbongBbong Prime is actually the onomatopoeia for a fart. That's what I've heard, and I'll have to ask him if I ever meet him and ask why he actually chose that name as we do get started in this Terran versus Zerg matchup. Now, the recent metagame has really been dictated by a lot of expansions and a lot of macro style of play. A lot of Zerg players in general have been able to get up to 200 food sometime around the 14 to 16 minute game mark. And that's really been influenced by the Stefano style of play, where players just try to get up 90 drones, and then with 90 drones are really able to produce a lot of units off of 3 bases plus 1 macro hatch inside the base. We'll see if this does, if this particular opening from, it's not Zephyr, from GhostKing does resemble that, or if he will do something a little bit different. It looks like GhostKing will be going for that natural expansion over here at 15, so a 15 hatch coming down, and taking a look at BbongBbong, he is not going for a gas either. So it looks as though we are going to be getting up another supply depot here, followed by a command center, and both of these players are not really going to try to engage each other just quite yet. Now, the next telling sign will be GhostKing getting up an extractor. That means he wants to get that metabolic boost up just a little bit faster. Zerglings with metabolic boost are much faster. They give you much better map control and can handle Hellions a lot better as well. You're going to see the spawning pool now be placed down. 3 drones quickly will be transferred over to the extractor, and as soon as there's 100 gas, I suspect that GhostKing will pull off those drones in order to get more minerals and then try to drone up even more heavily. Meanwhile, the Terran player is opting to go for a command center down here on the low ground instead of building it up on the high ground. There is one Overlord coming in from GhostKing, and this is going to be a very good spot for this Overlord. The Overlord will be able to spot the gas over here in just a second, and if he spots that gas, he pretty much knows that by the timing on it, what is happening. You see that there is double gas coming in from the Terran player now, so we should perhaps see a factory coming in as well. Normally, Terran players do want to go for a double racks and then go for the double gas. What this tells me is that the Terran player is opting to go for a heavier factory play and may even try to transition into cloaked Banshees. We'll see if that is going to be the case, or if he will just follow it up with Hellions and a double medevac. We should be getting up a factory as soon as we have that 100 gas. There we go, there is that factory, and then we should see what add-on is being added there. Bunker now being placed down on the low ground instead of being placed down off over here. Zerglings may try to do a run by, but this choke point is rather large. The larger the choke point, the harder it is for a Terran player to wall off as this game does roll on. You see that there is no more gas being harvested. Metabolic boost about halfway completed, as Zephyr now sitting on a 23 drone to 20 SCV advantage, but there is that 1 mule and a second orbital command now coming into play, so the Terran player should get a very nice advantage. SCV now looking around. He will be scouting and will be coming up that ramp in just a moment, only to run into a whole bunch of Zerglings and Queens quickly taken out, and right now he is playing in the dark. Now taking a look off over here, it looks like we are going to be going into Hellions, and I believe this barrack should be adding on a tech lab as soon as there is 50 minerals. Hellions are being added here. Nope, no tech lab. So yes, there is a tech lab, so it is going to be Hellions into cloaked Banshees, and this is going to be a very nice play. You also see that the Terran player had opted to pull away all of his SCVs and move them back into his main base. This was a very nice call. considering the number of Zerglings that are currently on the field. These two Hellions are going to have a lot of work to do. These Hellions need to be very, very careful. They're trying to drive out and simply are going to get torched here, get caught out of position. That is no good, because now those Zerglings are trying to do a run by. The front door, we are going to be going onto an engineering base there, and now it does significantly reduce the amount of surface area on that bunker. Is enough damage going to be dealt? Yes, it looks as though the Zerglings are going to clean this all up, as the Hellions on the high ground and the low ground attempt to clean up Zerglings. So far, Zephyr is taking a significant advantage, but you got to remember that Zephyr did sacrifice a little bit of his economy in order to train up this many Zerglings. He is not going to have the strong Zergling or the drone count because of all these Zerglings, and with no Baneling's Nest, he really has no follow-up. He really wanted to get more worker kills. He only got 3, and that is not that good of a situation for Zephyr to be in. You can see that the Hellions are now trying to clear out more of these units. We are already getting our first Banshee with Cloak, and with no tech to tier 2 and with no evolution chamber, I don't believe that GhostKing will be able to respond to this at all. And an evolution chamber needs to be placed down rather quickly, and these overlords are not in position to actually spot these units. Banshee now flying out, making sure to not come across the center portion of this map. Banshee most likely will just hug around the far corner side here, and then be spotted over here by this third base. There are no drones here though, so the Terran player has to really be concerned about tipping his hand before he is ready. It looks as though the Queens are trying to establish more and more creep tumors connecting these bases. There's a lot of Hellions. The Hellions going to torch a lot of those Zerglings. The Zerglings trying to do a surround, but those Hellions just simply too much in mass. 6 Hellions finishing off all of those Zerglings there, as a second Banshee now looks to come into play as well. There are Queens already in position. We are going into a Spine Crawler, so it is going to be a Hellion, and now in comes the Banshee. The Banshee is cloaking and now going after some drones. One drone now down, a second drone getting taken down. Hellions now trying to come in and maybe able to catch a lot of drones, and a beautiful lineup there, taking down a lot of those units. The Banshee now trying to go after the Queens before the Spore Crawler does get up. Another Hellion arriving to the party a little bit late. How many worker kills? Already up to 9. And the Terran player dealing just the right amount of damage to get back into this. 39 SCVs versus 37 drones, as the Terran player takes his own natural expansion. Now, this is a little bit of a risky maneuver trying to take this expansion. Zerglings will be able to run up this ramp rather easily. There are 3 Hellions in play. The Hellions still do not have blue flame tech, and as we are going into our 3rd and 4th gas coming in from the Terran player, the Zerglings now looking to run in. How much damage are they going to do? The Hellions are nearby, and here we go, gonna torch them once again. Zerglings trying to run in. The Hellions doing a great job. The front door could be completely walled off in just a second. No, it looks like the Zerglings are not going to be doing that, as both sides are just trading workers for units so far. It looks as though all the units have been taken down. Army compositions, both sides rather small still. No one is sitting at an army larger than 100 or 1,000 total resources, as we now see a round of drones being hatched by GhostKing. 53 drones versus 42 SCVs. So far, a nice tug of war back and forth game here on Antigua Shipyard. We are going into siege tanks, no siege tech as of yet, going into reactors. So Terran going to be transitioning into that heavy Terran bio play with siege tanks and medevacs in order to fend off the next attack. There is one Overlord here. The Overlord does not spot this command center, but as soon as the SCVs start to mine, it will be revealed. And now GhostKing knows that he needs to make a move. He cannot stay even on bases. Zerg players generally want to be up on a base. They want to expand faster than their opponent at all times. As we are now going into a Spire, another round of drones, and we'll see what's going to be happening next. I don't expect these players to get into the maximum food count until around the 16 to 18 minute mark, since they did do a little bit of early aggression. Banshees are out in play. One drone not going to be able to... Oh, it looks like the drone may be able to barely escape. Is he going to be fast enough? The movement speed just a little bit faster, and that Banshee unable to catch up. Now, I like this play also by the Terran player, opting to call in all of his mules over here at the 3rd base. He wants to mine this out as quickly as possible, just in case this expansion does get taken down. You can take a look off over here. Double engineering bays being set up in addition to an armory. So it is going to be a heavily upgraded Marines in just a moment. And with now Baneling movement speed being added, any fight on creep will just be that much more difficult, as the Zergling once again clean up the map. So the Zergling's going to go ahead and run it off over here. There is no planetary fortress. Those Zerglings are going to have a field day with all of those SCVs. Marines now making their way in. The Marines are upgraded 1-1 against 0-1 Zerglings. Those Zerglings do not stand much of a chance, trying to do a decent surround. But with Medivacs as support, the Marines will finish all of that off there. Now we see GhostKing still sitting on a 13 supply advantage. Mutalisk still being trained. No missile turrets as of yet, as I don't believe our Terran friend is ready to handle this Mutalisk harassment. These Mutalisks are now going to take down some Banshees, and now we should be seeing some missile turrets, especially as their hand has been tipped. Missile turret finally being placed down. It does take 25 seconds to build. I believe that missile turret will just be a little bit late. Marines now trying to drop up onto the high ground. SCVs now getting taken down. Mutalisk trying to back off once more, and it looks like they will be able to do exactly that, hitting and striking where they are needed most. That Mutalisk ball already up to 15 with 4 more on the way. Marines going up against it, and the Marines trying to focus down the Mutalisk. There is a missile turret up, and that missile turret is as effective as 4 Marines with an additional +2 range. Those Mutalisks decide to back off, especially with so many SCVs nearby to repair it. A 19 supply advantage, or excuse me, now a 25 supply advantage for Zephyr. We'll see what he's going to transition into now as another Banshee gets picked out of the sky. Terran players cannot afford to lose units like that. There are triple missile turrets off over here. The Mutalisk may try to come in, and that is going to be really, really sad play if those missile turrets do complete in time. One SCV taken down, and now a second missile turret may get taken down as well, but it looks like it will simply just be repaired. We now see that there is only a 23 supply difference. Another round of Zerglings and Banelings now being added. Banelings level 2 melee upgrades coming in on those Banelings. 27 Banelings. And even with proper splitting, if those Banelings are able to hit 3 Marines each, that is going to be a very, very deadly consequence, as the Marines will not be able to get back into the field in order to deal with these Mutalisks. Mutalisks do not have any armor upgrades. That is a little bit of a concern, as the Marines are going to be 2-2 in just a moment. We are going into level 1 weapons upgrade as well for the mech army, so siege tanks will be able to one-shot a Zergling even with armor upgrades. At level 2, I believe that Thors are able to two-shot a Mutalisk, and at level 3 able to two-shot a Mutalisk even with armor upgrades. We'll see how this will all go down in just a moment. There is still a lot of Mutalisks in the air, 16, and we should be seeing a transition into Infestors. Zerglings and Banelings now trying to run across the field. Zerglings deciding to back off too many siege tanks, but without the level 1 weapons upgrade just quite yet, there could have been a small timing opportunity. Terran now establishing up their 4th base, a 4th base already established up over here by GhostKing. The Mutalisk now going to simply fly straight in. No, there are too many missile turrets, and with auto-sec tracking, that may be even better, as the Zerglings and Banelings now trying to crash in on the front door. Banelings finding their targets, taking down some siege tanks, but not a very, very good trade. Banelings against siege tanks, and now perhaps the Mutalisk will be able to finish off a little bit more. No, it seems like one siege tank is solely alive, and now more units need to be dropped. Speaking of a drop, it looks as though our Terran player is going to be trying for a drop in the main base. There is not many drones here, but there is still some key tech, especially that hive, as now the Marines are going to clean up some creep tumors, making sure no additional movement speed. One lone Marine trying to catch up will not be able to do so. No, actually, that is just on patrol in between those 2 locations. And now 2 Marines inside the base with only 1 queen to defend. This is not looking good, as what we may see the spawning pool get taken down. Drones are getting all destroyed there. 1 gas geyser will get taken out. The queen now needs to make its way over. Units look like they are finally making their rounds back over. And with Mutalisk and Zerglings, even if the medevac picks these units up, that is going to be a very bad day. Down it goes. And those Marines all traded for pretty much 1 extractor and 3 drones. Not too great of a trade, as we now see a planetary fortress here at the gold mineral patches. So our Terran is now establishing gold here, and this is going to be very, very interesting. Taking the gold, using mules in order to strip mine that, or actually, never mind, I take that back. Mules do not mine faster from gold any longer. Just SCVs will be able to get in a lot more resources. Banelings, Mutalisks, and Infestors now joining in, but it really feels like the Terran player is gaining a lot of momentum, especially getting level 2 weapons upgrade on the vehicles, and gonna finish 3-3 in just a moment. Vikings now being added in order to deal with the natural transition that Zerg players do into Broodlords. 11 Marines being trained at a time. We also see one orbital command sitting down over here as Mutalisk try to rush in, unable to do so. And with a planetary fortress here at the gold, I'm not sure what GhostKing can do. He is now running even on bases. He wants to establish up a new base. Medivacs just cleaning up all of these Marines. Medivacs cleaning up all the creep tumors with the help of Marines. As the Mutalisk take down Medivac after Medivac, it looks like nope, the Medivac will not go down. The Mutalisk wanted to finish them off. There are a couple of Corruptors and now Broodlords as well. There in come the Broodlords, and a fungal growth could happen. Banelings do not want to splash against that few of a units, as there are Mutalisks as well. What's going to be happening? Infestors hit off a nice fungal growth. Marines now trading again. The Vikings being forced to stay still, as now the Broodlords want to go up against those siege tanks. Siege tanks now in trouble. They are going to be forced to retreat in just a moment, as we see that there are a couple of Broodlords here. Vikings going up against the Mutalisk, and we see that there are very nice transfusions coming in as well. A fungal growth hitting a lot of those Marines. The Broodlords now trying to take down more units. One Broodlord does get transfused again, and the siege tanks being pushed back once more with only 3 of these Broodlords. 3 Broodlords enough to at least stop this aggression. Zephyr now sitting at 198 over 200 supply. Our Terran now sitting at 181. Level 2 weapons upgrade. We are going into autosec tracking and Terran building armor. +2 armor for those turrets. Very, very nice. An additional +1 range, as now the Broodlords are coming in. There are Vikings, but the Vikings are going to get quickly taken down. But now, nope, in comes 6 more. Mass transfusions trying to save those units. It looks like the Broodlord may get taken down off over here, but now 4 more come to take their place. Corruptor's going to try to engage. There's a fungal growth, but it only hits 1 Viking there, as siege tanks and a fungal growth finish off more Marines. So far, this has been a crazy, crazy macro game. No one is really attacking into any of the production area, as they don't want to give up this center ground. We are going into level 3 ground upgrades, as the Vikings are now continuing to push. Corruptors now trying to make their way over, and what really needs to happen is that those missile turrets need to get taken down. It looks like 1 Broodlord, no, 2 very low hit point Broodlords need to get healed and transfused. What is going on over here? The Marines may be able to get off underneath. We may get a fungal growth. No fungal growth on any of those Marines, as the Infestors finally make their way back around. The Corruptors are getting focused down as well. Only level 1 weapons upgrade, no upgrades on the Vikings. And the Corruptor Viking battle continuing to go at it for so long. The Broodlords need to get into position. It looks like some of those Broodlords will get taken down, but the Corruptors no longer focus firing, and that may be the issue, as the missile turrets are going to fall. And now the Terran player losing this King of the Hill spot here. There are still enough Vikings, but Corruptors are still coming in. And will the Broodlords be able to finish off some missile turrets? That is going to be the next question. A lot of siege tanks still behind, as the final Broodlord here gets shot down. A 40 supply, a 30 supply advantage for our Terran friend, but our Zerglings now going in, trying to take down this gold mineral patch, unable to do so, and Zerg is just in a dominant underdog now. I know a little bit backwards. Terran very, very much ahead, as he's been able to establish up his own 5th base here at the 12 o'clock position. Marines now making their way over. It looks as though Zerg is going to be falling here in just a moment. Zerglings unable to catch all of these Marines. The Marines are fully upgraded at 3-3. Zerglings are 3-3, crackling upgraded as well. They are fighting on creep with the Marines in a very good position, positioning themselves in between mineral patches, minimalizing their surface area, as the Banelings finally make their way in. But with Terran at a 60 supply advantage approximately, and also controlling this top part of the hill, I believe Terran should be able to clean this up. A great transition into Vikings off of quad starports, not even a reactor on 2 of those, or sorry, a quad training, no reactor on 2 of those, as we're now going to see units once again push out. These Queens will get taken down. The Corruptors are not going to be able to do enough. The Queens need to get some in transfusions. There's some fungal growth, slowing down those Vikings, but the Vikings with that focus fire able to burst damage a couple of those Corruptors and take them down. We now have a 70 supply advantage for Terran, and Terran now running off of just, I believe, 3 mineral patches, or 4 mineral patches. The gold nearly mined out. That's going to be a bit of an issue, as we now have more Marines inside the 3 o'clock location, and it looks like there's going to be another attack down over here as well. One Marine going to go ahead and scout this out, scout out that hatchery, and now GhostKing says GG. So BbongBbong taking game 1 in this Terran versus Zerg matchup here on Antigua Shipyard. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it.